Today, we're looking at how to make measurements using different scientific instruments, all right? So let's look at what we have here. Here is a measuring cylinder. This is a measuring cylinder. We have a beaker. Of course, you should be familiar with the ruler, and we also have a thermometer. So we're going to show you how to use these different instruments and to use them properly. All right, now I have some water in this plastic bottle. If I should pour out some in this beaker, all right, I can get an estimate of the volume of the water. So when we're looking at liquids, we talk about volume. So if I wanted to get the volume of this sample of water, I would place my beaker on this flat surface and try to read the volume, all right? So I'll look at eye level and try to estimate the volume. Now what you'll find out is that the beaker may not give us a very accurate reading of the volume. So to accurately read the volume, we would really use a measuring cylinder. So here we would pour out our water into our measuring cylinder, and we're going to, again, our measuring cylinder is on a flat surface and we're reading. There are some lines on your measuring cylinder. We call them the graduated lines, right? And they will help us to get an accurate reading of the volume. So this one, it's going up by 10. So there's a solid line that goes up by 10, and then there's some little fine lines in between. So it's good to check to see how many lines are in between, and then we would try to read off based on the number of lines. So the water here, it has formed a surface, a curved surface with my measuring cylinder. That is called our meniscus, yes? And if I should read that volume, it should be, it's at 91. And so we would say that this volume is at 91 centimeters cube or milliliters. So 91 milliliters or 91 centimeters cube. And that is how we would get the volume of the water. Now suppose I wanted to find out the temperature of this water. What instrument would I use? To determine the temperature of the water, we would of course use a thermometer. You're right. Now let us look at our thermometer. This is a thermometer. This blue section, the part that we'll place in the liquid, is called the bulb. Very sensitive, right? And in it, you will find the liquid that is going to expand or contract to tell us the temperature. In this particular thermometer, the liquid inside is alcohol. Of course, we would have also known that other thermometers could have mercury, which is a liquid metal. At the top of the thermometer, this is called the stem. And again, we will see certain markings on the thermometer, certain numbers, which will give us an idea of the temperature. Okay, so place our thermometer in our water or in our liquid, depending on what you're measuring, right? You want to ensure that the thermometer is submerged, the bulb is submerged in the liquid. So it doesn't have to touch the bottom, or it shouldn't, but it should be suspended in the liquid. And you leave it for a few seconds to enable the alcohol, which is expanding or contracting based on the temperature, to settle. So you want that reading to settle, right? And so you'll allow it to stay for a few seconds. Again, when we're planning to read that thermometer, we will try to make sure that we're seeing what is on it at eye level. So this is 20. It has passed the halfway mark, so it's more than 25. And then we look at the markings again, the graduated lines. on the thermometer to help us to get a good reading. So now it's at 25, 26, I think we'll say 26 degrees Celsius. All right? And so that would represent our temperature of this sample of water. When we're finished, we dry off our thermometer, the bulb, right? And place it back into our container for storage. Okay, so that is how to use the thermometer properly. Now the last thing we'll look at today is how to measure the length of this box, right? So here we have a box. How do we measure the length of the box? So this should be easy. Of course, we know that to measure length, we would use a ruler. But do you know that some persons are not able to use a ruler correctly? So our ruler, again, would have numbers, markings to show us the length of any thing that we're measuring, all right? So it's very important when we're reading the length to place the ruler at the 0 mark. So notice your ruler will actually, the edge will actually start before the 0. So when you're measuring, ensure that you're starting from the 0 mark and you hold it straight, yes, and you're reading from left to right. And once you have it straight, yes, you're now going to ensure that you're reading the markings on the ruler. So here at the edge of this box, my marking is between 33 and 34, so I have to look at the fine markings. And so I can actually count it. So this ruler is measuring in centimeters, so I can count the markings, and I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going right to the edge, 6. So this would be reading 33.6 centimeters. So it's very important when we're taking measurements to use our units. So let us look back at our water. The volume of the water was 91 centimeters cube or milliliter. That's the unit. The temperature of the water would have been 26, what's the unit? Degrees Celsius. And of course, the length of our box would be 33.6 centimeters. And that is how we should ensure that we use our instruments properly. Thank you. Goodbye. See you next time.